Come on. Are you willing to pay the cost? You must cultivate an owner's mentality. God says, if you want greatness, you got to be willing to own it. Got to be willing to possess it. God was dealing with me. He says, I want you to have this buyer's mentality, this possessor's mentality, because now greatness is going to require something. The first thing it requires is greater requires movement. It requires movement. You can't stay in the same place and receive greater. Why is that so important? Because some of us have gotten stuck on the way to greatness. We can't move past something. We can't move past an issue. We can't move forward, and our feet are stuck. And if there's anything the enemy wants us to do, is he wants us to stay in the same place. He wants us to become immobilized and become paralyzed, because if we get stuck long enough, we will lose sight of greater. If we stay in that place long enough, we'll lose sight of it. And God began to show me that there's so many things that cause us to get stuck. A mistake can cause us to get stuck. Amen. Traumatic situation in our relationship can cause us to get stuck. People can cause us to get stuck. Disappointment and setbacks. And God says there are times that I want you to know that it's not enough just to have faith for greater. Let me show it to you. Go to Deuteronomy, the 11th chapter, really quick. I want to show you something. Deuteronomy, the 11th chapter, and the 24th verse. Hope you didn't lose it. It's there for us in the 11th chapter and the 24th verse, and it says these words. It says, every place whereupon the soles of your feet, somebody say feet, shall tread shall be yours. Every place. In other words, God is saying, on your way to greater, faith is good, but the season of greater is going to require more of you. It's going to require you to move your feet. Movement now is very important, and I want to show you how important movement is for your spiritual life. In the Bible, they have two seas, one the Dead Sea, and then there's also the Sea of Galilee. And the only difference between the Sea of Galilee and the Dead Sea is that the Sea of Galilee has movement in it. There's an inflow and an outflow. There's something coming into it, and there's also something coming out of it. There is movement. But the Dead Sea is dead because whatever goes in it stays right there. And it's so important for us to see this, because even in our own natural bodies, whenever there is an intake, all right, there must be an outflow. Look at somebody and tell them, if it goes in, tell them the rest of it. God told me to tell you, some of us are spiritually constipated. Because there's a whole lot going in. There's no movement coming out. And anytime you stay constipated long enough, it's going to equate to death. So no movement equals death. And there should be nothing in you that agrees with death.